We have been in this series of I'm going to let you live. And this whole time, we've been preaching from a perspective of how to deal with people that offend us. But this is my question to the church today. How do you deal with your spirit when your decisions offend your gift? How do you? Somebody has to make sense of this. We come to God with our problems, what we are upset with. God, we're mad. I've been done wrong so many times, but God says this. Come sit on my side of the table for a second. How does your spirit feel when your character offends that? Genesis 15, I'm going to read it to you. Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead. They said, perhaps Joseph will hate us and may actually repay us for all of the evil which we did to him. So they sent a message to Joseph. You may be seated. I want to talk to you today from this topic, the fight between could and can't. This is part 2 of our invisible prison sermon. We tried to finish this last week. Father, I feel you. Will you repeat after me? Say, Father, help our minds to receive, hearts to believe, our hands to achieve. Listen, this last part shouted, all that you have for me. What I'm excited about most is that the overarching premise, a theme of this series has been dealing with how to respond to offense. How do I navigate and be productive when I'm offended? How many of us have given up on life, on our assignment? How many of us have quit because we were offended? Y'all mind if I take my time, because I don't want to run past you today. Many of you are not able to receive the harvest you deserve because before you got done planting and watering and nurturing the seed, what was around the seed offended you. And your response to offense was, I don't got to deal with that. The absence, I'm going to come down every road because I got a little time today. Absence is never the response to being offended. Quite actually, it is the opposite. Because until God frees you from the assignment, you are still required to be where you're supposed to be. So when you allow offense to evict you, you cannot expect a harvest. Does this make sense? And if we be honest, if we keep it 100, if offense can run you from your assignment, you were never committed to the assignment anyway. The enemy is so smart. And when you think the enemy's dumb, then you got to check your own self. Because he'll offend you in seasons that your emotional maturity is low. When you sick and tired of them and you ain't got time because you just one word away from not turning the other cheek. So the enemy says, let me plan something so I can see if their faith is what they really say it is. Let me test that Sunday morning shout. Let me test that Sunday morning speak in tongues. Let me offend them and see how they respond. If you want to really see the hand of God in your harvest, execute and be offended. That's when you get to say things like, they didn't want me to have it, but God. It takes maturity to respond to offense. It takes understanding the assignment. I want you to repeat after me. God, help me to understand my assignment. Many of us have quit jobs, relationships, business exchanges because we were offended. Now, this is my question to the believer. If you got Jesus on your chest, why would you not expect to be offended? Why, help me, would you not expect to be tried and tested? Because they know the story of our Father. Oh, come on, open up this room now. They know the story, and they've seen your posts, and they've seen your praise in the break room. Now, when a person is not spiritual minded, what do you expect them to do? I want to see if they are saved as they say they is. And when the enemy starts saying things like that, you get to know that God has me in a testing season. And my prayer this morning is, God, help me to pass the test. Because if you don't do it, I'm going to slap them. On sight. If you don't do it, I'm going to fail. But what I'm glad about, the word of God says, I'll never leave you, nor will I forsake you. I will be that voice. But my question to the believer, I feel the holy rule. My question to the disciple is the voice audible? Turn the radio down, turn Jesus up. Turn Netflix down, turn Jesus. Y'all playing with me this morning. Get that boo out your ear and turn Jesus up. Get that boo out your ear and out your bed and lay on your face. Y'all all right? Let me get back to this text. Here, the overarching idea of the series is that offense is an emotion that our enemy will use to trap you in a quality of life that is beneath you. Pastor Bruce, what are you saying? Living with the spirit of offense is beneath you. Living in the spirit of offense is beneath you. Being offended by something that cannot change the trajectory of your life is beneath you. Being stressed about a job that's only going to supplement your purpose is beneath you. So why are you living beneath your privilege? We left off last week admonishing and understanding that when we've lived in seasons of offense, we receive the quality of life that being offended gives. We left off talking about this. You can be mad without getting even. That's hard for, what? No, no, y'all won't amen me to move me along. No, because I'm going to make you feel what you done to me. I am not going to tolerate you talking to me like you must not know who you talking to. Well, let's ask Jesus how he feels about that. Let's ask the person that did no wrong. Let's ask the person that gave all he had in hopes that what he created would choose him. Okay, that's 3 claps. Let me see if I can get 16 right here. Let's ask Jesus, the same Jesus that was caught by Roman soldiers. They thought he was caught, but he was waiting on them to show up anyway. You can't catch me unless I want to be caught. Let's ask that same Jesus who was sitting in that garden and said, now they're here, I gotta go. My time has come. That means that his itinerary said, I'm going to eat breakfast and about 11:15, they're going to come get me. Because what? They're about to Uber me to my next level. I don't know who I'm talking to, but God says, I'm giving you so much confidence. I'm giving you so much assurance that you're going to be waiting on your porch for your enemy to Uber you to your greater level. Somebody shout, I'm ready for greater. On your way to being Ubered, only take what you need. Jesus did not have a duffel bag of stuff. He did not have a Louis bag of stuff. No, he had his sandals, his robe, and his assignment. Because where you going, nothing makes sense there anyway. Your church would sing a song like this. You can have this whole world. Okay, I just lost my millennials. Here it is. Be seated. I'm almost done. If I don't have good credit because of past decisions, give me Jesus. Okay, this is what the Father said. Now, this ain't for everybody. This is for the mature folk. Okay? This is for the mature folk. Okay. So we believe that God is all that we need him to be, right? Everybody's convinced of that. That God is all that we need him to be. Okay, cool. So we're all on the same page. Yes? All right, cool. So when we encounter pain and trauma and we are not healed immediately, it turns us into self-sabotagers. Because that means that the pain that you experience could be healed at the moment that you invite okay. If God is Jehovah, that means that I'm covenantly promising to be every single thing that I need him to be. So that means that there is not a problem or a situation that you're going to run into that I can't get you out. Our God is the God of exits. So when we walk ourselves into painful seasons, God said, I'm at the door waiting on you. He said he would always, yes, sir, make a way of escape. So why are we getting mad with something that don't even matter? When we should be mad at ourselves for settling in offense. And we wonder why we're trapped because we're in offense. Not in offense, we're in offense. Because offense is a fence that stops you from getting to places and seasons. That's why you keep getting held back. Because God said, you still offended. I'm praying, I'm sowing, I'm giving, I'm speaking, I'm shouting, I'm running, I'm giving, I'm being hit, I'm being used, but you still offended. The word of God is not up for negotiation. The moment that you release offense, God presents opportunity. And you cannot be half offended. That's next week. Let's get into the story. Shows us that Joseph is saying that his offender's punishment is not his place to give. Oh, man. I have an idea of what you deserve, but my mind is not just enough to charge you. And we say things like, yeah, you offended me. What you sow, that's what you're going to reap. Who is the God of the harvest? Not you. So it's almost like when you try to determine what a person deserves, you put yourself in a God seat. And that is an inclination that you are spiritually immature and you need to grow in God. Does this make sense? So here it is. Our punishment, our offender's punishment is not for us to speak to, because when we put ourselves in a position where we intend to give them back what they give us upon what we think or feel, hear me when I say this, we are placing ourselves in a judgment seat that we don't have the heart nor the mental capacity to rightfully administer. God does not make emotional decisions. Does that make sense? God makes righteous judgment. Whew! I'm not going to make it today. He makes righteous judgment. That's why you're surviving and your enemy is thriving. Because he's a master narrator. Your enemy will be looking at you like, yeah, see, I knew they was in the wrong. They suffering and I'm over here thriving. But God will put you in a complacent place to let them get all they gonna get. And at the peak of they getting, it's almost like, excuse me. And when you walk past, you don't have to look at what they have, because as you're walking, God is doing. As you're walking, God is giving. That's why you don't have to be offended by something that you're going to pass by anyway. And we're not having no more meetings about it either. People, this is going to free somebody. People will give you time that don't fit your crime. Okay. You lied on me. Death sentence. You walked past me in church. Death sentence. You blocked me on Facebook. Death sentence. You didn't answer the phone for me. Electric chair. Ain't that a lot? We've all done it. Oh, I love the word of the Lord. Because God loves us. Because he understands how he created us. This is what he knows. He knows that we will all make decisions and eternal judgments based upon temporary feelings. What is God's response to us making emotional decisions? Grace. God is clearly saying to us in Joseph's story, but this ain't good enough for some people. I like what God showed me here. God's saying, I can't kill everybody that hurt you. I can't do it. I can't kill everybody that abused you, lied on you. I can't kill the person that raped you. I cannot kill the person that I cannot kill the person that did you wrong. Because if I do, who's going to tell you? Who's going to tell your I remember when story? Okay. I'm going to say that one more time because I don't think that hit the room like I needed it to. If I kill the person that hurt you, who's going to tell your testimony in rooms that you're not in? Okay, come here, Job. Okay. When the enemy was seeking the land, trying to find somebody to mess with, because that's all he has to do. Not only is the devil a liar, he cannot tell the truth. So when you hear the enemy say something to you, he doesn't have the capacity to be honest. So when the enemy starts talking, you should start praising. Because what he's saying, the opposite is going to happen. That's why you got to make sure that your heart and your mind is not connected to anything evil. Because God will use your voice to talk to you. Well, I can get away with that. I can do that and still be. I can tell them a piece of my mind and not. No, you cannot. Does this make sense? Here it is. How do I release and forgive? How do I get past what I feel and execute so that God will be proud of me? It's not enough for you to pass your own test because you didn't test yourself. You are not your own professor. So you saying things like, well, I didn't respond how I used to respond. That's not enough. Did I respond how God would have me to respond? Because sometimes God will give you the permission to clap back a little bit. Just because we saved, we ain't soft. So don't think that just because I'm pastoring today, that you just going to roll up on me crazy on Monday. And when people know you saved, they try you. And when they get that get right, they be like, I thought you were saved. I am. Matter of fact, I'm preaching this Sunday if you would like to come. This makes sense. But you got to wait on God to give you the green light to act up. We don't like that word. You gotta wait on that green light. He's never given me a green light yet, but I'm praying. Because I'm on yellow. I'm just idling, right? Just let me get in this thing, get y'all up out of here. Pastor Bruce, how do we release and respond? How do we forgive? And this is a twofold point that I want us to have. To get past what you feel, grab hold to what you know. To get past what, now that's a fight. Now we're not going to act like that's not a fight because I'm angry. I'm mad. Now, if you have no self-control over yourself and your emotions, you need to have a conversation with God because what leads you masters you. I like that. Whatever leads you is your master. So if you can't hold it, then your emotions is your master. Does that make sense? This number 2. It's easier to forgive people in your past when they have no control over what God does in your future. Joseph says to his brothers, and I'm done here, the same brothers who said they done Joseph wrong, Joseph says, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, the saving of many lives. So God is screaming at us. If he's hurting you, somebody's watching you. If God is allowing people that you love, again, we talked about last week, Joseph and Jesus did the same thing. And Joseph was able to do it because Jesus did it first. Joseph allowed himself to be thrown into a pit or a grave, just to be saved from the grave, from the pit, just to come save the guilty. Perspective is so powerful. You'll think it's an attack and it's training. You'll think it's warfare and it's development. God is saying, I need to make sure that you can take getting hit and not losing me. I need to see if you can be broke and still tithe. I need you to have only your tithe in your pocket and 3 bills need to be paid. I need to see which one you're going to decide. Y'all all right? I need to see if you are, if you have low willpower and you're just agitated and you're frustrated. I need to see at the moment of trial, will you pray or will you cuss? Will you turn to a bottle of Hennessy than to turn over in bed and talk to me? He said, I'm going to put you in certain seasons to see how you respond. This is what Joseph says. He says, all of this happened to me just so I can save many lives. Selfish people can't shout off that. Because what is my payment for my pain? Help me. He'll turn my purpose, my pain into we wear the shirt, we buy the shirt, we share the post, but when God starts to inflict pain upon you, we respond as though we forgot the assignment. What about me? What about you? We should find an honor. Woo! Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. My life is not going according to what I wrote down. But I see about 100 and some odd people in the sanctuary today because God is using me, this broken vessel, this imperfect person, to do what? Save many lives. And if you want to make me proud, when you walk out of those double doors, when you go down those gray stairs, when you turn right or left on Decker Boulevard, use your pain as a trampoline to do what? Save many